Another Australian. Oh no. Okay, so I'm Sebastian, and here's my story. In case of an emergency, oxygen masks will fall from the ceiling. Put yours on first before helping anyone else out. My emergency happened when I was 24. I'd finished high school, I didn't know what to do. My career advisor told me that I needed to get a degree, so I did. 3.5 years later, $19,000 in debt. I had a degree. I had no idea what it was, but I had it. And it got me thinking quite curiously about what was important in life. So my reaction was to go traveling overseas to various countries and continents until I was 24 in Canada. And I received a phone call late one night from a friend of mine back in Sydney, where I'm from. And he told me the news that one of my close friends, a guy called Chris, who I'd grown up with, had very suddenly and very tragically passed away overnight. And that moment made me ponder a lot of questions immediately. Why am I here? What am I doing? Whatever it is I am doing, am I doing it well? But the one thing that stuck in my head was simply this notion. If Chris knew that he only had 24 years on earth, would he have lived the same way if given another chance? Would he have changed anything? Was he happy? And I never got to ask that question to him, but the more I thought about it, he lived on the beaches, he loved his family, he loved his mates, he loved having a beer, he loved being a big kid. Rightly or wrongly, by anyone else's code, Chris was living a life that reflected his values. He wouldn't have changed a thing. I then asked myself that same question at 24 in Canada. Looking back at my life, could I honestly say that I was living a life that I was happy with? Or would I change everything? And instantly, with consideration, I realized that I would change everything. So I picked up a pen and a piece of paper, and I began jotting down everything that I thought might make me smile, because as I saw it, I wasn't happy. One thing turned into 10 to 50 to 100 things, and as I looked at this bit of paper, I became extremely emotional, and I decided then and there to drop everything in my life to pursue my list. You're going to judge me, and that's fine, but I flew straight to Las Vegas because I've always wanted to marry a stranger there. Now, it's legal, so how can that be wrong? Long story short, I met a stripper called Crystal Mud Wrestling, and I proposed to her. She said yes. So I found a chapel, quite romantic, an Elvis impersonator, a stretched hummer, you know. All these people, I don't know them, they just turned up. They thought it was funny. The only person who didn't turn up was, of course, Crystal, which left me with a problem. So I decided to create an opportunity, and I looked down at the crowd and I said, is there anyone else here who'd consider marrying me? And it turns out there was. Her name was Chevali. She was my receptionist at the hotel. Turns out she'd always wanted to marry someone for 24 hours as well. She was just waiting for the right person. So, Elvis was fantastic. We had a very awkward moment when he asked us to kiss, because it was the first and the last time that we ever touched. And I only say that because I know what you're wondering. And the answer is no. So, this was my first tick, which is great. But beneath this was something far more important. I'd achieved things before, but this is the first time that I'd identified a goal for myself, by myself, for me. And I went through the process of getting there and I achieved it. And immediately I felt empowered, I felt in control of my life. And I was smiling, genuinely. And I thought, well, why stop? So I just haven't. I've been going for 7 years, I don't do anything else. I've ticked off 72 items. Thanks, Mum. I've raised a lot of money for charity, I think $300,000, and this journey I'm no longer in control of. But this is not about a bucket list. This is about something deeper I've discovered. This is about finding your passion, and through that finding purpose. This is about growing in every day, in every way. And I think it's about connection with each other, of course, but I think firstly with yourself. And this is my story. Why did it take a loss in my life for me to consider something good? And why do we hear that story all the time? Someone's diagnosed with an illness, let's call it cancer. Someone's involved in a car crash. And if they're lucky enough to survive, they're the ones that jump out of bed and climb a mountain or write a book or propose to a loved one or start a company or learn how to play ukulele. Why should it take a dark moment to consider a light moment? And I don't think it should. There are many people who I've met who've done amazing things, some of which are in this room. And it seems the only difference between someone who does and someone who doesn't is this word, permission. They give themselves permission to consider what's important to them. With that, they acknowledge their values, who they are as a person, and they identify goals. And when you have that goal, that meaningful goal, it's just a choice to pursue it. Life is about choices. You choose to be here, you choose not to be here. Because at the end of the day, we are entirely accountable for what we do. We're not bystanders, we're in the driving seat. And if this is right, the question therefore becomes, what's on your list? Have you considered this? If you know in your head something right away, that's great, awesome. If not, why not? And it could be anything. Could be something personal, could be something professional. There are people in the world who now contact me and they say, do you know anyone we can help? And 100 Things has become this conduit, this middle person for people who can help and people who need help. And they are meeting in the middle. And it is unbelievable. In case of an emergency, oxygen masks will fall from the ceiling. Put yours on first before helping others. But make sure you help others. Selfish is putting yours on, ordering a cocktail, and reclining. Selfless is putting yours on and then helping. We've helped amazing people so far. A poor girl in the hospital, we got her through the community to meet Taylor Swift. We helped a guy having a very hard time pimp his four-wheel drive and go camping in Australia. Sporting heroes, I mean, the list really goes on. This guy in the middle through the TV show, through Defy and Patel, the collaboration. We helped a war veteran, a hero, an American war veteran, lost a leg in Afghanistan, learn how to ski with one leg. That was his dream. And this lady here was the first person who ever contacted me who was suicidal. She had a rope on the curtain rail and was ready to jump. She contacted me, I called her, we've become friends. She's now traveling the world pursuing her list. The idea of, well, thanks, yeah. This is what the world's about. It started with one question, what's on your list? Consider it today for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your colleagues, because the potential is that you can change your life and the life of someone you haven't met yet. Isn't that beautiful? People of worlds, let's change the world. Thank you.